There's blood on my hands. Not a metaphor. Real blood, still dripping. The moment the semi-truck hit me, I heard the sound of my own bones shattering. A tidal wave of pain crashed over me, but my only thought was to call Laura. She didn't answer. Once, twice, a third time. I was still stubbornly dialing that number, worn into my muscle memory, right up until they wheeled me into the operating room. I knew she was off today at home. How could she not hear the phone? In the last second before the anesthesia took hold, I remembered. She said she was going to bring soup to Kevin Pierce's mother today. Don't worry, I'm on my way now. She finally called back, her voice breathless, as if she'd been running. But by then, I was in the ICU, unable to even touch my phone. 01, Mr. Cole, you're awake? I'll go get the doctor right away. The on-duty nurse's voice pulled me from the murky depths of unconsciousness back to reality. Through the blinding white light, I saw my own legs and left arm, both wrapped in thick bandages. Pain, a deep, relentless ache seeping out from the bone. How long was I out? I asked, my voice a rough croak. 3 full days, the nurse explained while checking my vitals. Your injuries were severe. Your left leg has a comminuted fracture. Your left arm is fractured, 3 broken ribs, and significant internal bleeding. It's a miracle you pulled through. My wife. Oh, Ms. Evans has been here every day, the nurse said with a smile. But today she's been next door in 605, helping with that patient. She probably doesn't know you're awake yet. I'll go get her. 605? Isn't that someone else's room? I fought back a surge of agony and waved a hand at the nurse. Don't. Let her focus. I'm Phoenix. After the nurse left, I lay in a hospital bed, replaying the crash in my mind. Did I run a red light? No. I distinctly remember it being green. Was the truck speeding? It all happened too fast. All I remember is the deafening blare of a horn and the world spinning violently. My thoughts were cut short by voices from the hallway. Laura, you are just the sweetest thing. You haven't been home in days, just staying here at the hospital to take care of me, a kind, older woman's voice said. Of course, Mom. Your health is the most important thing. It was Laura's voice, but that word, Mom, sent a chill through my entire body. Wasn't she supposed to be looking after Kevin Pierce's mother? Why was she calling her Mom with such affection? I struggled to sit up, but the movement sent a jolt of pain through me, and I broke out in a cold sweat. Oh, and Laura, honey, Kev said things are crazy at the office, so he probably can't make it to the hospital today. Don't be upset with him. It's okay, Mom, I get it. Things will calm down after he gets through this big project. Their conversation drifted into my room, every word a knife twisting in my heart. I bit down hard on my lip, forcing myself to stay silent. Just then, a nurse came in to change my dressings. She held a tray with gauze and antiseptic, her expression apologetic. Mr. Cole, your wound is showing some signs of inflammation. This might sting a lot. It's fine. Just do it, I said. The searing pain of the antiseptic on my open wounds was nothing compared to the agony in my chest. The nurse carefully finished her work. As she was leaving, she hesitated. Mr. Cole, your attending physician said it would be best if someone could stay with you for the next few days. Should I call a family member for you? I shook my head. No need. I'll be fine on my own. Night fell, and the hospital grew quiet. The light in room 605 was still on, and I could occasionally hear the sound of laughter. And me? I just lay there in the dark, thinking about my life with Laura. We met in college. She was so bright and lovely back then, with a smile like a spring morning. After graduation, I got a job at a tech firm and clawed my way up from an entry-level position to department head. To give her a better life, I worked myself to the bone, often staying at the office late into the night. Last year, I finally made VP. The company assigned me a junior executive to assist me. That was Kevin Pierce. He was a sharp, capable guy with a smooth personality, and I gradually came to trust him. Whenever I had to work late, he'd volunteer to stay and help. Laura used to say how lucky I was to have Kevin, that he saved me from having to work even harder. Looking back on it now, I was a complete and utter fool. 02 the next morning, I got a call from the Seattle PD. They had determined the cause of the accident. The truck driver had fallen asleep at the wheel and run a red light, plowing right into my car. He was 100% at fault. Mr. Cole, if you'd like to press charges and seek damages, we can help you start the legal process, the officer said. I agreed, my mind elsewhere. Just then, the door to my room opened and Laura walked in. She was wearing a simple white dress, her makeup perfect. When she saw I was awake, her face lit up with a brilliant smile. Honey, you're finally awake. I was so worried about you. She moved to rush toward me. I instinctively flinched back, the movement aggravating my injuries and making me suck in a sharp breath. Don't move, let me, she said softly, reaching out to tuck in my blanket. I grabbed her wrist. You've been in room 605 this whole time? I have, she said, her tone perfectly natural. Kevin's mom was admitted for a heart condition. She was all alone, so I just wanted to keep her company. So, while I was in the ICU, fighting for my life, you were keeping a woman you've known for less than a year company. I asked, enunciating every word. A flash of panic crossed her face before she smoothed it over. Don't misunderstand. I saw that you were stable. Besides, Kevin helps you out so much at work, the least I could do was help with his mother. Helping to the point of calling her mom? The question hung in the air. Laura froze. You heard that. What if I did? I shot back with a cold laugh. You seem to think it's perfectly normal. She bit her lip, her eyes turning red. Ethan, please don't be like this. It was just a slip of the tongue. She's an older woman. Calling her mom is just a sign of respect. Is it? I cut her off. Then why don't you explain why you called Kevin Kev on the phone? Or why you said you were waiting for him to get through this big project? Laura, do you take me for an idiot? The color drained from her face. Ethan, calm down, she said, taking a step back. You need a rest. When you're better, we can. When I'm better, what? I stared her down. You'll come up with a better excuse? Or just keep lying to my face? She was silent for a long moment, then suddenly dropped to her knees by my bedside. I am sordid, Ethan. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Hit me, yell at me, do whatever you want, just please forgive me this one time. Watching her sob, I just felt a bitter, hollow laugh build in my chest. Get up, I said. You don't have to kneel. She looked up, a flicker of hope in her tear-filled eyes. Ethan, as soon as I'm discharged, you can go take care of your mother-in-law full-time. No, she shrieked. Ethan, you can't do this. I know I was wrong. I really do. It was all Kevin. He seduced me. I wasn't thinking straight. A nurse rushed in at the sound of the commotion. What's going on? The patient needs to rest. Please keep it down. It's nothing, I told the nurse. Could you please escort this woman out? She's not my family. Laura tried to protest, but the nurse firmly led her out of the room. Silence returned. I closed my eyes and let the tears I'd been holding back finally fall. The deepest pain wasn't the moment the truck shattered my bones. It was the moment I realized the person I loved most had shattered my life. 03 that afternoon, my doctor came by on his rounds. He said I was recovering well and could be moved to a regular room in a couple of days. However, he said, frowning, what a patient needs most right now is care from their family. Mr. Cole, I strongly recommend you let your family. Doctor, I interrupted him. I want to be discharged as soon as possible. Absolutely not, he said immediately. Your injuries are severe. You need to be hospitalized for at least a month, and that's before you even start physical therapy. I can go to another hospital, I said. I don't want to spend another minute here. The doctor tried to reason with me, but I wouldn't budge. After he left, I picked up my phone and dialed a number. Ethan, is it you? I heard about the accident. Are you okay? My friend Mark Hansen's anxious voice came through the line. I'm alive, I said. Listen, I need a favor. Can you find out what project Kevin Pierce has been working on lately? Mark, a detective with the Seattle PD and my best friend for years, immediately picked up on my tone. What happened? Did that punk screw you over? Just check it out and let me know. After hanging up, I called the nurse back in and asked her to arrange a transfer to another hospital. A transfer? She looked surprised. But your wife just specifically asked us to take good care of you. She's not my wife, I said, my voice ice. The nurse fell silent and quickly left the room. It wasn't long before Laura came storming in. Ethan, can you please stop being so stubborn? She pleaded, her eyes red from crying. This is the best hospital in the city, and your doctor is a top specialist. If you go somewhere else, how can I not worry? Worry? I scoffed. When have you ever been worried about me? Of course I have, she cried, tears streaming down her face. These past few days I've been. You've been in room 605. I finished for her. taking care of your mother-in-law, and developing your relationship with Kevin. That's not true. She lunged forward, grabbing my hand. Ethan, please let me explain. There's nothing going on between me and Kevin. I was just... Enough, I said, pulling my hand away. Laura, do you really think this is about whether or not you're sleeping with him? She stared at me, confused. Then what is it about? It's about how pathetic this whole thing is, I said, looking her straight in the eye. While I was lying in the ICU, broken and bleeding, you were playing nurse to another man. While I was hovering between life and death, you were calling another woman mom. Laura, what is your heart made of? She was stunned into silence. I really know I was wrong, she stammered. Ethan, just give me one more chance, please. I swear I'll never. Don't bother swearing, I said coldly. You could just get the hell out. Ethan, she screamed. You can't do this to me. After 5 years together, you're just going to throw it all away? That's right, 5 years, I said with a hollow laugh. And this is how you repay me? She opened her mouth to say more, but I had already pressed the call button by my bed. When the nurse arrived, I said simply, please remove this woman. If she harasses me again, I'll call the police. Laura collapsed into hysterical sobs as the nurse forcibly escorted her out. I lay back on the bed, listening to her cries fade down the hallway, and felt nothing at all. From this day forward, she was a stranger to me. 04 the next day, Mark came to the hospital with some bombshell news. You know what Kevin's been working on? He said, leaning in close and lowering his voice. He's been in negotiations with a group of investors to acquire a subsidiary of your company. I felt a jolt of shock. Which subsidiary? The Smart Home Project. The one you've been heading up, Mark said. I hear the deal is almost done. They're just waiting for a board vote. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath. I had built that project from the ground up, poured my heart and soul into it. The top brass at the company loved it. We were planning to take it public next year. And now, Kevin was trying to swallow it whole. There's more, Mark said, handing me a folder. These are his recent call logs. See for yourself. I opened the folder, and my vision narrowed. Rows and rows of calls between Laura and Kevin. Nearly every day. Most of them were late at night. On several occasions, the calls lasted 2 or 3 hours. The first one was dated 6 months ago. They had been going behind my back for that long. Ethan, you okay? Mark asked, his voice laced with concern. I shook my head. I'm Phoenix. Dig into Kevin's background for me. There's no way he's doing this alone. Already on it, Mark said. He's got a backer. Richard Sterling, the vice chairman of your company's board. A cold smile touched my lips. Sterling had always been eyeing my project. I just never imagined this was how he'd make his move. One more thing. Mark hesitated. Should I look into Laura? Just in case. Don't bother. I cut him off. I just want to know what their plan is. Mark sighed. All right, I'll keep an eye on them. You be careful, too. Hospitals are busy places. You never know who might be watching. After he left, I lay in bed, replaying the last 6 months in my head. Laura's frequent, vague excuses for going out, claiming she was shopping with friends. Kevin's constant offers to stay late at work, even volunteering to drive my wife home. The minor, unexplained tweaks to confidential company files. I had been so blind. I hadn't seen any of it. My phone buzzed. A text from Laura. Ethan, I know I was wrong. Please don't push me away. My feelings for you over the last 5 years have been real. I made a stupid mistake. I blocked her number. A few moments later, another message came through from a different number. Are you really this cruel? You won't even give me a chance to explain? I admit Kevin and I got too close, but I never cheated on you. How do you want me to prove it? You want me to take a test? I typed back 4 words with a cold smirk. Cut the bullshit. Then I blocked that number too. She kept trying, using new numbers to harass me. I finally just turned off my phone and closed my eyes. The priority now was to get better. Once I was out of this hospital, they were going to pay. 05 a week later, I transferred to a private hospital across town. Laura still showed up every day, crying and making a scene. I ignored her completely. She only stopped coming for a few days after I finally had security call the police to have her escorted off the premises for trespassing. During that time, Mark continued to gather evidence for me. The plan Kevin and Sterling had cooked up was becoming clear. While I was laid up in the hospital, they were going to sell my project for pennies to a shell corporation, then flip it for a massive profit. To do it, they needed my signature. which is why Kevin had seduced Laura in the first place. He was using her to get to me. Those sons of bitches. Mark seethed, slamming his hand on the table. Ethan, just give me the word and I'll arrest them both. I shook my head. Not yet. When I have enough evidence, I'm going to ruin them. Just then, the door opened and Laura walked in. She was thinner than the last time I'd seen her, her face pale and her eyes bloodshot. The moment she saw me, she fell to her knees. Ethan, I'm begging you, please forgive me. I truly know I was wrong. I looked at her coldly. What are you doing here? She bit her lip. I came to tell you that I've cut off all contact with Kevin. I quit my job too. From now on what? I interrupted. You think saying any of this makes a difference now? It does, she said, her voice rising with emotion. Ethan, I regret it so much. I've had time to think, and I see now that Kevin was just using me. I was so stupid to fall for his lies. I couldn't help but laugh. So, are you upset because you were played for a fool? Or because you found out he isn't as rich or powerful as I am? No, she cried, tears welling in her eyes. I'm truly sorry. Please, just give me one more chance. I'll do anything. Anything, I asked, my voice dangerously soft. Her eyes lit up with a desperate hope. Yes, anything, as long as you'll forgive me. I picked up a document from my bedside table and tossed it in front of her. Then sign this. She opened it, and her face went white. Divorce. Papers. That's right, I said flatly. You said you'd do anything. No, she shrieked. Ethan, you can't. I know I was wrong. I swear I will never do anything to hurt you again. Please, don't make me leave. Watching her hysterical performance, I felt a wave of disgust. Laura, I said, my voice like steel, do you know what I hate more than anything? She stared at me, stunned. What? Hypocrisy, I said, enunciating every syllable. You betrayed me when I needed you most, and now you're kneeling here playing the victim. Do you really think I'd ever believe you again? I'm not playing. She scrambled forward, clutching my legs. Ethan, my feelings for you these past 5 years were real. I just got confused. Get out, I said, kicking my leg free. If you don't get out now, I'm calling security. She collapsed on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Ethan, how can you be so cruel? You used to dote on me. Now you won't even say a single kind word. You're right, I did dote on you, I sneered. And in return, you spent my recovery period acting like another man's loyal little dog. Her face went chalk white. What? What are you talking about? What am I talking about? I pulled a USB drive from under my pillow. Maybe we should review the call logs between you and Kevin? Or perhaps you'd prefer to listen to the recordings? She trembled violently. You were spying on me? What do you think? I tossed the small drive in my hand. You think I'm an idiot? I knew something was wrong between you two for a long time. It was a total lie, of course. But I needed her to panic. I needed her to be afraid. And it worked. Laura's expression turned to one of pure terror. What? What all do you know? What do you think I know? I watched her, letting the silence stretch. Need me to jog your memory? She bit her lip, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry, I said, pushing the divorce papers back in front of her. Just sign them. After that, we go our separate ways. With a trembling hand, she picked up the pen and signed her name. Now get out, I said, and don't ever let me see you again. She staggered to her feet and walked toward the door, looking back every few steps. Suddenly, she turned around one last time. Ethan, can you really not find it in your heart to forgive me? What do you think? I sneered, wanting to play those recordings for you. She flinched as if struck, then turned and fled without another word. I watched her go, a cold smile on my face. The game was just getting started. 06. For the next month, I focused on my physical therapy. Every day, Mark brought me updates. Kevin and Sterling's plan was moving forward smoothly. They had already lined up a buyer and were just waiting for me to get back to the office to sign the transfer papers. Those two bastards really think you're a pushover, Mark said angrily. Shouldn't we leak the evidence we have now? I shook my head. Not yet. Let them have their moment of triumph when I get back. The fall will be that much harder. My phone vibrated. It was a text from an unknown number. Ethan, are your legs feeling better? I think about you every day. I miss you so much. Laura again. Over the past month, she had used countless numbers to contact me. The messages were always the same, a mix of regret, longing, and pleas for forgiveness. I had blocked every single one. That woman still hasn't given up? Mark frowned. I let out a cold laugh. She's not sorry. She's just scared of the evidence I have. What evidence? There is no evidence, I said. But a guilty conscience needs no accuser. Mark stared at me for a second before it clicked. Brilliant. No wonder she's so desperate to see you. When people are guilty, they're prone to making mistakes, I said calmly. Whatever secrets she and Kevin are hiding, she'll reveal them soon enough. As if on cue, the door to my room opened. A nurse walked in. Mr. Cole, there's a Ms. Evans here to see you. I raised an eyebrow. Let her in. The nurse left, and a moment later, Laura entered. She was wearing a white dress and had her makeup done perfectly. She looked like a completely different person from the disheveled woman I'd seen a month ago. Ethan, she began timidly. It's Mr. Cole, I said coldly. What do you want? Her eyes immediately welled with tears. I just came to see how you were. I heard you're getting discharged soon, and You've seen me. I cut her off. I'm Fina. You can go now. Don't be like this. She suddenly rushed forward and hugged my legs. Ethan, I really know I was wrong. I've thought about you every single day this past month. I feel like I'm going crazy. Please, just give me one more chance. I looked down at her. A chance? What makes you think you deserve one? Ido. She said desperately. I'll do anything. As long as you forgive me. Anything, I repeated with a sneer. All right then, tell me everything. About you and Kevin. From the very beginning. Her body tensed. There was never anything serious between us. We just got close from working together. It was a mistake. Was it? I pulled the USB drive from my nightstand. Should I play the tape for you? Her face drained of all color. You really recorded us. What's the matter? Scared. I watched her, my eyes hard. Sounds like you two have a lot to hide. She was trembling from head to toe. No, I swear I didn't. Get out. I pressed the call button. Get out now, or I'll play this for the whole world to hear. She scrambled to her feet and fled as if the hounds of hell were at her heels. Mark was speechless. Dude, when did you get a recording? I didn't, I said, tossing him the drive. It's blank. He stared at it for a moment, then burst out laughing. That's genius. Absolutely ruthless. I love it. I leaned back against my pillows, a glint of ice in my eyes. Laura, the more you panic, the more you prove you have something to hide. And I'm going to uncover every last dirty secret. 07. A month later, I was finally discharged from the hospital. That morning, Laura showed up again, insisting on driving me home. I had security remove her in front of everyone. Mr. Cole, it's so good to have you back. Kevin was waiting at the company entrance, a wide, welcoming smile plastered on his face. While you were recovering, things here have been absolute chaos. I looked at his fake, concerned expression and smiled back, my own smile feeling like a mask. Yes, well, thank goodness I had you to handle things. I appreciate it. Of course, he said quickly. Why don't you get settled in your office? Let me know if you need anything at all. I nodded and walked toward the elevator. When I entered my office, I found my desk buried under a mountain of paperwork. Kevin followed me in, explaining, this is all the work that's piled up, mostly things that need your signature. This one is the most important. He pulled a thick contract from the stack. It's the acquisition deal for the smart home project. The board has already approved it. We just need your final sign-off as the project lead. I took the contract, pretending to study it carefully. Who's the acquiring company? Starbright Innovations, he said. They're a new startup, but they have some serious backing. Mr. Sterling is particularly excited about this partnership. I laughed internally. Starbright Innovations. The shell company they'd set up, with a mailing address that was nothing more than a P. Ooh, bucks. All right, I'll look it over, I said, setting the contract aside. By the way, how has Laura been? Kevin flinched just for a second. Oh, I'm not really sure. Really? I gave him a knowing look. I heard she quit her job. I think so, yes, he said, looking flustered. Well, Mr. Cole, I'll let you get to it. Just let me know when you've reviewed the contract. I watched him practically flee from my office and smirked. This guy thought he could outsmart me? I picked up my phone and sent a text to Mark. It's time. His reply was instantaneous. Got it. Be careful. Putting my phone down, I opened my laptop and started digging through the project files and server logs from the past few months. Just as I suspected, it was full of discrepancies. Project data had been manipulated. Key documents had been altered. I was deep in my review when my assistant knocked on the door. "Mr. Cole, a Ms. Evans is downstairs. She's insisting on seeing you." I frowned. "Have security get rid of her." "We've tried, sir," my assistant said, looking stressed. "She won't leave. She's just crying in the lobby." "Then call the police." "No need to call the police." Laura burst into the room, her face tear-streaked. "Ethan, please, just give me 5 minutes. That's all I ask." I stared at her, my face a stone mask. "If you don't leave right now, I'll have our legal team file a restraining order." How could you do that?" she sobbed. "After everything we've been through." "We're exes," I corrected her. "Now get out." She sank to the floor. "No, I'm not leaving until you hear me out." I ignored her completely and turned to my assistant. "Make the call." "Wait." She scrambled to her feet. "Ethan, are you really going to burn everything to the ground?" I raised an eyebrow. "What's that supposed to mean? You just want to know about me and Kevin, right?" she said, her voice dripping with venom. "Fina, I'll tell you. We were together, and it was a hell of a lot more exciting than being with you." I actually laughed. "Is that so? Then why are you still here, begging for my attention?" She was momentarily speechless. "I get it now," I said, standing up and looking down at her. "You're afraid of the evidence I have, aren't you?" The color drained from her face. What? What evidence? What do you think?" I sneered. "Want me to play it for you?" She started trembling. What did you record?" "Enough," I said, my patience gone. "Since you've admitted to your relationship with Kevin, you can disappear from my life. Now, or you'll regret it." She opened her mouth to argue, but 2 security guards rushed in and dragged her out. I sat back down in my chair, a cold, triumphant smile on my face. "Finally, Laura, you showed your true colors." 08 that evening, Mark met me at a private lounge downtown. "I've got good news," he said with a sly grin. "Guess what I found out?" "Spit it out." "Our boy Kevin isn't just sleeping with your ex-wife," he said, leaning in. "He's also involved with Richard Sterling's daughter." I raised an eyebrow. "Rachel Sterling?" "The one and only," Mark confirmed. "And get this, they're engaged. The wedding is next month." I let out a low, humorless laugh. "Interesting. So he's trying to marry his way to the top. But he's still seeing Laura on the side," Mark continued. "I had a guy tail them. They've been meeting up at a hotel downtown for the last 2 days. You have proof. It's all here." He slid an envelope across the table. "Photos, hotel receipts, the works." I opened the envelope and scanned the contents, nodding in satisfaction. "Good work. So what's the plan? How are you going to use this?" "I'm going to wait," I said. "Let them think they've won. Then I'll bring the whole house of cards down." Just then my phone buzzed. A text from Laura. "Ethan, please meet me. There's something important I have to tell you." I glanced at the time and replied, "The old coffee shop. Half an hour." Mark frowned. "Are you sure you want to see her? She's walking right into the trap." "Why wouldn't I?" I smirked. "Who knows what other useful information she'll volunteer." Half an hour later, I walked into the cafe where Laura and I used to go. She was already there, waiting. She shot to her feet the moment she saw me. "Ethan, you have something to say?" "Say it," I said, sitting down. "I'm a busy man." She bit her lip. I came to confess." "Confess what?" "About me and Kevin," she said, taking a deep breath. "I admit it, we were together, but he was lying to me the whole time. He said he loved me, that he was going to marry me. But today I found out he's engaged to Rachel Sterling." I couldn't help but laugh. "And you came here for my sympathy?" "No," she said urgently. "I came to warn you. He's not a good person. He only got close to me because of your project. He wants to—" "Enough." I cut her off. "I already know all of this." She froze. You know. Why else do you think I agreed to the divorce so easily?" I said with a cold smile. "I saw through your little act from the very beginning." Her face went completely white. Then why didn't you expose us?" "Expose you?" I looked at her, my expression predatory. "You think I would let you off that easily?" She started to tremble. What are you going to do?" "You'll find out soon enough," I said, standing up. "You made your bed, Laura. Now you have to lie in it." I turned and walked out of the cafe. Behind me, I could hear her start to sob. "Ethan, you can't do this to me. I am truly sorry." I didn't look back. The game was just getting started. Why rush the ending? 09 the next day, I called Kevin into my office to discuss the acquisition. So, Mr. Cole, have you had a chance to think it over? He asked, his voice oozing false sincerity. The offer is more than fair. I tapped the contract. This company, Starbright Innovations. Did Mr. Sterling recommend them? He did, Kevin said quickly. Mr. Sterling has a lot of faith in their ability to take the project to the next level. In that case, I said, closing the contract, I'd like to discuss this with Mr. Sterling directly. Kevin was clearly taken aback. Well, I don't know if that's necessary. Mr. Sterling is a very busy man. Is he? I stared at him. Or was this project not important enough for him to discuss in person? No, that's not it, he stammered. I'll see what he says. Do that, I said. Oh, and I heard congratulations are in order. On your engagement. His face tightened almost imperceptibly. Yes, that's right. Congratulations, I said, my voice heavy with meaning. I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting the lucky lady. She's Richard Sterling's daughter, he mumbled, avoiding my gaze. Oh, I feigned surprise. Rachel Sterling? What did you two meet? It wasn't while you were negotiating this deal, was it? Beads of sweat formed on his forehead. No. We met at a gala. Right. No need to explain. I waved a dismissive hand. Just go talk to Sterling. And be sure to send me a wedding invitation. I watched him practically run from the room and let out a cold laugh. The fool actually thought he was in control. As expected, it wasn't long before I received a call from Richard Sterling's office, requesting a meeting. He chose an exclusive private club downtown. Ethan, good to see you, he said with a practiced, oily smile. I hear you have some concerns about the acquisition. I smiled back. Not concerns, Richard. I just think the price is a little low. Low? He frowned. It's a fair market price. And let's be honest, the project is still in its early stages. It's a significant risk. Is it? I interrupted. Then I have to wonder what Mr. Sterling sees in it that makes it worth Starbright Innovations' while. His smile faltered. Well, we're primarily interested in their team and their proprietary tech. Team? Tech? I scoffed. A shell company that's existed for less than 3 months has a team and proprietary tech. He slammed his hand on the table. What are you trying to imply? I'm not implying anything, I said smoothly. I'm just advising you to be careful, Richard. You wouldn't want complications. He stared at me, his eyes burning with fury. Ethan, don't push your luck. Or what? I laughed. I'd love to know who exactly you think you're threatening here. With that, I stood up and walked out, leaving him sputtering in my wake. Ethan, you'll regret this, he roared after me. I didn't look back. The goal of today's meeting was to rattle their cage. And it worked. Shortly after I got back to the office, Laura showed up again. Ethan, what are you doing? She demanded, her face etched with anxiety. Why did you meet with Richard Sterling? I smirked. What's the matter? Kevin sent you here to get intel. Her face went white. No. I was worried about you. Save it, I said, my voice sharp with impatience. I'm not playing your games anymore. You really know everything. Know what? I countered. Know how the two of you plotted against me? Or know about all the other dirty little secrets you've been hiding? She was shaking. Please don't scare me. Scare you? I laughed. You're the one who was so brave, cheating behind my back. What's there to be scared of now? I didn't, she cried, tears starting to fall. Kevin and I never. Enough, I roared, cutting her off. Get out. If I see your face again, you'll regret it. She stumbled out of my office. I picked up my phone and texted Mark. Are you ready? His reply came a second later. Ready and waiting. Just give a signal. Good, I thought, a cold smile spreading across my face. You wanted my project so badly? Fine. But you'll lose everything else in the process. Kevin and Rachel's wedding was scheduled for the following week. That morning, I got a text from Mark. Everything is in place. Waiting on you. I checked the time and replied, wait for my signal. The wedding was held at the most extravagant hotel in the city. As a senior executive at the company, I was, of course, on the guest list. As soon as I walked in, I saw Kevin and Rachel greeting guests at the entrance. The groom, handsome in a tailored tuxedo. The bride, stunning in a flowing gown. They looked like the perfect couple. Ethan. Kevin's face lit up with a fake smile when he saw me. I'm so honored you could make it. I smiled back, handing him an envelope with a gift. Kevin, Rachel, a perfect match. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Rachel beamed. Thank you, Mr. Cole. I looked at her innocent, happy face and felt a pang of something almost like pity. I wondered if she'd still be smiling in a few minutes. The ceremony went off without a hitch. Just as the officiant asked for the rings, I pulled out my phone and sent a single text. Now. A second later, the massive projection screens on either side of the altar flickered. Then, a video began to play. On the screen, in grainy hotel security footage and much clearer cell phone video, were Kevin and Laura, entangled in a hotel room, their voices clear from a hidden microphone. As soon as I marry Rachel and get access to the Sterling family money, we can finally be together for real. But what about Ethan? Him? Once I have his project, he'll be nothing. The entire ballroom fell silent. Every guest was staring, mouths agape, at the screens. Rachel Sterling let out a strangled cry and collapsed. Richard Sterling's face was purple with rage. He pointed a trembling finger at Kevin and screamed, "You bastard!" Kevin was frantic. "No, that's not real. It's fake. Ethan set me up." "Fake." I stood up from my seat, my voice ringing out in the silent room. "Would you like me to project the hotel receipts next?" The blood drained from his face. At that moment, Laura, who had apparently been invited, appeared at the back of the ballroom. She ran forward, tears streaming down her face. "Kevin, you liar. You told me you were going to marry me." The room erupted in a cacophony of shocked gasps and whispers. Richard Sterling looked like he was about to have a stroke. "Security? Get this trash out of my sight. Get them both out." Guards rushed forward and dragged the disgraced groom and his crying mistress from the ballroom. I watched it all unfold, a cold, satisfied smile on my lips. This was only the beginning. 11, the wedding reception descended into chaos. Rachel Sterling was rushed to the hospital. A furious Richard Sterling called the police. Kevin and Laura were taken in for questioning, but since no laws had been broken, they were released a few hours later. The next day, the company's board of directors called an emergency meeting. "Ethan, this situation has become a major embarrassment for the company," the chairman said, his expression grim. "Do you have anything to say?" I smiled calmly. "About what, specifically?" "Kevin's affair, or the fraudulent acquisition of my project by Starbright Innovations." "You." Richard Sterling shot to his feet, pointing a shaking finger at me. "Don't play dumb with me, Ethan. You're the one who played that video." "I am," I admitted freely. "I was simply presenting the facts." "Is there a problem, Richard? A guilty conscience, perhaps?" He was so angry he could barely speak. "What are you trying to say?" "Nothing at all," I said, pulling a file from my briefcase. "I just have a few questions about this company, Starbright Innovations." Sterling's face went pale. "What is this, Ethan?" the chairman asked, frowning. I handed him the file. "Take a look for yourself, sir. These are the articles of incorporation for Starbright. The registered agent is Richard Sterling's nephew. The sole shareholder is Richard himself." The chairman's face darkened as he read. "Richard, what is the meaning of this? Are you trying to embezzle company assets?" "No, that's not it." Sterling panicked. "I was acting in the company's best interest. The project is high risk. I was just trying to what?" I cut in, my voice like ice. "Trying to buy a $100 million project for $10 million and then flip it to our biggest competitor?" He was completely cornered. You're lying." I produced another file. "These are your email exchanges with our competitor. They were prepared to offer $100 million for the project." The boardroom exploded with shouts of outrage. The chairman slammed his fist on the table. "Richard Sterling, you have some nerve." Sterling collapsed into his chair, speechless. "And there's more," I continued, "regarding Kevin Pierce." I opened my laptop and played an audio file. It was a recording of a conversation between Kevin and Laura. "Don't worry. Once I get the project, I'll divorce Rachel. Then we can be together. But Ethan, who cares about him? Once I'm a VP, he'll be out on his ass." When the recording finished, the boardroom was dead silent. "Well," the chairman said, his voice shaking with rage. "Excellent. Security, get Richard Sterling and Kevin Pierce out of this building. They're not to set foot on company property ever again." Guards entered and unceremoniously hauled both men out of the room. I watched them go, a cold, hard smile on my face. You wanted my project? Phoenix. But now you have nothing. 12. The news of Kevin and Sterling's firing spread through the company like wildfire. Rachel Sterling publicly called off the engagement and posted a long, scathing tell-all on Twitter about Kevin's manipulative and deceitful behavior. The thread went viral and trended for 3 days, utterly destroying what was left of his reputation. As for Sterling, an anonymous tip to the SEC about the acquisition deal triggered a full-blown investigation. His position as vice chairman was immediately revoked by the board. That evening, as I was leaving the office, I saw Laura standing on the sidewalk. "Ethan," she called out timidly. "What is it?" I asked, my voice flat and cold. Her eyes immediately filled with tears. "I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. I've cut Kevin out of my life completely. Please, just give me one more chance." "A chance?" I laughed, a bitter, ugly sound. "Do you deserve one?" "I do." She rushed forward and grabbed my leg. "Ethan, my feelings for you these past 5 years were real. I just got confused." "Is that so?" I looked down at her, my face unreadable. "Then why did you betray me?" She bit her lip. I was fooled by Kevin. He said he loved me, that he would give me a better life. But I see now he was just using me." "And so what?" I countered. "He used you. So that makes it okay to betray me? To spend your time with another man when I needed you most?" Tears streamed down her face. "I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. Please, forgive me this one time." "Forgive you?" I scoffed. "Why in the world would I do that?" "You should." She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. "Ethan, I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Please, just give me one more chance." I crouched down, meeting her gaze. "Laura, do you know what I hate most in this world?" She looked at me, confused. "What?" "Hypocrisy," I said, my voice low and dangerous. "You betrayed me when I was at my lowest, and now you're here, kneeling on a public street, playing the victim. Do you really think I believe a word you say?" "I'm not playing," she said desperately. "I am truly sorry." "I am." "Truly?" I sneered. "Then why don't you tell me about all the other plans you and Kevin had?" Her face went pale. "What? What plans? Still playing dumb?" I pulled a folded piece of paper from my pocket. "Should I read this out loud for you?" She started to tremble. "No. Please don't." "Why not?" I watched her, my eyes cold and hard. "Are you afraid of people finding out how you plotted against me? Or how you sold me out behind my back?" She collapsed onto the sidewalk, sobbing. "I'm sorry." "I'm so sorry." "Don't be sorry," I said, standing up. "From this moment on, we are strangers. I suggest you stay far away from me. Otherwise..." "Otherwise what?" She looked up, her face a mess of tears and makeup. "You know, I have more evidence," I said with a cruel smile. "If I ever see you again, I'll release it all. And then you'll have a lot more to worry about than just a ruined reputation." She flinched violently. You can't." "Why can't I?" I looked down at her one last time. "You didn't seem too concerned with the consequences when you were betraying me." With that, I turned and walked away. I could hear her screaming after me. "Ethan, you can't do this to me. I'm really sorry." I didn't look back. Some wounds can never be healed. 13. Over the next month, I poured all my energy into my work. The smart home project was back on track and moving toward an IPO. The board was pleased with my performance and promoted me to executive vice president. One night, Mark and I were grabbing a drink. "Oh, you big time for this," I said, raising my glass. "If you hadn't helped me get that evidence, I'd probably still be in the dark." He waved it off. "That's what friends are for. But seriously, are you really over it?" I was silent for a moment. "What choice do I have? Life goes on." "And Laura? I hear she's been trying to see you." "A few times," I said dismissively. I had her turned away. "You're really that cold?" he asked. "What if she's genuinely sorry?" I let out a bitter laugh. "Genuinely? If she were genuinely sorry, she never would have betrayed me in the first place." He sighed. "Fair enough. Some things can't be forgiven." Just then my phone rang. An unknown number. "Hello, Mr. Cole." The man on the other end sounded frantic. "I'm so sorry to bother you this late. I'm Kevin Pierce's neighbor." He jumped from his balcony. I froze. "When?" "Just now. The paramedics came, but it was too late. He left a letter. He said it was for you." I was silent for a long moment. "Okay, I understand." I hung up. Mark looked at me, concerned. "What is it?" "Kevin Pierce killed himself," I said. He was stunned. "Well, I guess the bastard had a shred of honor left. I shook my head. He left a letter for me. What does it say? I don't know, I said. But I'm about to find out. Half an hour later, a middle-aged man met me at the bar and handed me the letter. I opened it. It was Kevin's suicide note. Mr. Cole, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. I know I did a lot of terrible things, but my biggest regret is betraying your trust. You were good to me, and I repaid you with treachery. These last few weeks, I've been thinking about how I became this person. I think I was blinded by greed. It made me lose my conscience. There's one last thing I need to tell you before I go. Laura is innocent. I threatened her. I told her if she didn't help me, I would release fabricated documents that would ruin your career. She only did what she did to protect you. Now I have paid the price for my actions. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive her. Give her a chance to start over. Kevin Pierce. I finished the letter and sat there, lost in thought. What is it? Mark asked. What did he write? I handed him the letter. See for yourself. He read it quickly, his brow furrowed. Do you believe him? What does it matter if I do? I said with a cold laugh. What's done is done. But Laura, don't. I cut him off. Some paths, once you take them, you can never go back. He sighed. Yeah, I guess so. 14 hardly anyone came to Kevin's funeral. His parents, who lived out of state, didn't arrive in time to see him one last time. The elderly couple sobbed, utterly alone in their grief. I watched from a distance for a few minutes, then turned to leave. As I reached my car in the parking lot, I saw Laura standing there. She was dressed in black, her eyes red and swollen from crying. You came for Kevin? I didn't answer. I just unlocked the car and got in. Wait. She grabbed the door before I could close it. I need to talk to you. There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is, she said desperately. Kevin's note. You know the truth now, don't you? He left you a letter, didn't he? I looked at her, my expression like ice. So, he really did threaten me, she said, her eyes welling with tears. He said if I didn't cooperate, he would release files that would destroy you. I was only trying to protect you. Enough. I cut her off. You really expect me to believe that? Why wouldn't you? She cried. Kevin's dead. What reason would he have to lie? I let out a short, sharp laugh. So we're just supposed to believe everything a dead man says? Then how can I prove it to you? She screamed, her voice cracking. Ethan, I love you. I never, ever betrayed you. Really? I countered. Then why didn't you tell me sooner? Why wait until now? She had no answer. I'll tell you why, I said, my voice dangerously low. Because Kevin is dead, and you've lost your safety net. You're only coming back to me now because you're desperate and have nowhere else to go. That's not true, she grabbed my sleeve. I am truly sorry. Please believe me. I shook her off. It's over, Laura. Give it up. There's nothing left for us. Why? She sank to her knees on the pavement. Why can't you forgive me? I know I was wrong. I really, truly know I was wrong. Because, I said, looking down at her, my voice devoid of all emotion, when I needed you most, you chose to betray me. A wound like that, it never heals. With that, I pulled the door shut and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see her a collapsed heap on the asphalt, her body racked with sobs. I felt nothing. Some roads, once you go down them, there's no turning back. A week later, I received a call. Laura Evans is at Seattle General. But it's too late. My heart seized in my chest. What do you mean? She went to the morgue where they were holding Kevin Pierce's body. The voice on the other end said grimly. She had a knife. She stabbed the body dozens of times and then took a bottle of sleeping pills. The doctors said there was nothing they could do. Are you going to go see her? My caller asked. I was silent for a very long time. No. After I hung up, I walked to the window and lit a cigarette. The night outside was dark, an endless black void. It reminded me of the despair I felt lying in that hospital bed. The person I was once closest to in the world was gone, and our story ended in blood and tragedy. But I no longer felt any pain for her, because some wounds, once inflicted, can never truly heal. That car crash didn't just shatter my bones. It shattered us. From that day forward, we were, and would always be, strangers.